Right, well, as you can see, I am leaking, absolutely soaking. Okay, some of that's water. But I woke up this morning with a bit of a cold, a bit of a chest infection going on. And 2 hours into this now, I'm starting to struggle a bit. The local lads are maybe about 50 metres ahead of me, just continuing cutting the trail. But I'm ball bag now and really looking forward to getting to the top of that ridge. It's been a tough old slog up here, you know, you can see the angle of it. The last bit gets worse and it opens out into bare rock apparently, and then we're on the ridge line and it's a drop down. So I'm really looking forward to that, going down rather than going up. I find it really difficult to take a breath and get a breath in. Got a bit of a chest infection coming on as well, a bit of a hacking cough that's nerving me. And of course I find it difficult to breathe in through my nose. It's starting to get humid now, it's coming up to 10 o'clock in the morning. You just start to see in some places where the sun's hitting the forest floor that the steam is starting to rise, which adds to the humidity. Of course, from my point of view, this is quite a dangerous place to be, particularly when you've not acclimatised and your body's not got used to this level of humidity and adjusted itself. So you sweat an awful lot. Of course, when you sweat, you lose fluids. That makes your blood actually quite thick, puts a strain on your heart. And you know, you fight to get enough fluids into you. So my dilemma, just sit down for a second. My dilemma is that I'm down to my last dregs of water. Not even seen any water vines in here. There's no water available coming up here that I've seen. Otherwise I would just top up. I've got my water filter with me and it won't be a problem. But as it stands, you know, it's probably going to be in the valley bottom on the other side of this ridge before I can get my first drink. So I've got to be a little bit careful, and I've got to try and walk at a pace which I'm comfortable with, to try to minimise now the amount of exertion I put in and therefore the amount of sweat that I exude in an attempt to cool down. Now, evaporative heat loss is the body's most efficient way of getting rid of heat. And you know, in this weather you can probably see my face is all red. My arms and everything are all warm because, you know, my body is desperately trying to get rid of the heat, and it does that by transferring it into the sweat glands and then pumping it out to the surface of the skin in order to then evaporate it with the heat of day. The problem is, as the humidity rises, the air is already saturated, and it's very difficult for that air to absorb your sweat as well. So you end up retaining more heat, which ultimately compounds to either develop heat exhaustion or, actually in this condition, is more likely heat stroke, exertional heat stroke, which can be a problem. So, you know, even though it only seems like a short walk when you look at it on the map, as is all things jungle, you know, an hour's walking, you might only do 500 metres, or maybe a kilometre, particularly if it's dense jungle. Add into this, you know, cross-graining over the mountain, you know, it's a hard slog. But got an insect on the screen. But we'll keep going. I don't think it's going to be an issue. I'll just be a little bit slower getting to the top, so I can get down the other side and get some water in to cool down. So that's the state of play at the moment, and I'll talk to you later. So when I made it to the top, heck of a climb, but there's a valley down there, absolutely glorious. What a view from up here, really, really lovely. There's a jungle you can see stretching out in front of us. I've yet to ask the question about how we get down off here, but I'm sure there's a path somewhere, which we'll find in a minute. Got a couple of big peaks up there. You know, it's all quite gnarly stuff, and it's limestone as well. So some of these rocks are razor sharp, and the whole place up here is covered with these little bees, little tiny black things. Let's see if I can get a picture of one. There must be a nest somewhere around here. They don't sting, but you see them coming on their hands, but they just cover you. They're after a drink. They love the sweat. You know, little sweat bees, bloody pain in the ass, they're everywhere. But they produce honey, which if you can find a nest is quite useful, because if you can find it you can get honey safely without getting stung, which is a lovely thought really. But let me tell you, I ain't gonna go running around up here looking for a fucking bee's nest. Sure as God made little green apples, you know, I want to be down there now. So spot a lunch up here and then get down off the hill and a cave, head out towards the cave, which is down there, and basically following this curve of this rock. But I'm still contemplating how the hell we're going to get down there. Looks a heck of a climb. More later. I'm sure something will reveal itself. It always does. Okay, well, things are not good. Down off the ridgeline, all have pretty much run out of water. And I guess because I'm suffering with this cold and this chest infection as well, it's hit me now. I'm fairly sure now I'm in heat exhaustion. My skin is desperately trying to get rid of heat. I've got pins and needles in my fingers. I can feel my pulse bounding, which is usually an indication of something going on in the heat, because not just because of the exercise, but because you've sweated so much. A lot of the plasma's come out, and of course that's what where my blood cells are floating in. So the heart is having to pump a much thicker blood around. So although your pulse may be the same, sometimes it can be full and bounding. Luckily, I've just got myself in some shade. The guys have gone on. The water source is about 10 minutes ahead. They'll go down, get some water, come back, and I'll take a drink and douse my clothing down so I can get an evaporative layer next to my skin to help me cool down. I feel very, very tired, completely no energy despite eating breakfast this morning and having a bit of lunch. You know, I will not stay here. I am going to recover my breath a little bit. If it is only 10 minutes, it's 10 minutes of effort. Just going to push it out, get down to that water stream, that water point, start cooling off, start collecting and filtering some water and turning it into something that I can drink, and then get some litres into me. I haven't had a pee at all today. So chances are, because I'm fully acclimatised, you know, dehydration setting in. The good news is I'm still sweating, which is cool. And in fact, the guy's just coming back now, so he's coming down the track.